Welcome back to the Booktroverts podcast. I'm McKayla.
I'm Meg.
And in today's episode, we are talking about Book 6 of the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy, which is Goldfinch. We have made it to the last book in the series. I feel like we've been reading this forever. If you want to see all the other episodes we've done on the previous books, we have them. And like those, we will be covering spoilers for everything up to and through Book 6. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen. And Meg is going to give us a summary before we jump into our ratings and questions.
Yeah. All right. One king caged my body, another has caged my mind. War has broken out between Anwin and Aurea, though that's not the only battle being waged. There's a fight inside me, and it's one I'm determined to win no matter how much they try to strip me down and hollow me out. Yet they've forgotten one thing, the ancient magic of a pair bond. One can never truly be lost when two souls are already bound. Because Slade and I, we are connected by more than just fated magic, and we will always find each other in any life. The fake king is trying to destroy me, my heritage, my memory, but what he hasn't realized is this: gold bends, but stone breaks, and a goldfinch does not fall, it flies. All right, what did you rate this book? And we'll start off with just rating of the book itself, and then we can go into series rating. But what'd you have for this one?
Okay, this one, I'm between a 3.75 and a 4. So whatever that math equals out to. That's not a good answer, but I'm between those two. Every day it changes. I liked it. I definitely liked it more than I liked books 4 and 5. I felt like this one had really great pacing. The action was happening. We were moving around. The only reason why I can't fully commit to a 4 or higher is I just feel like there are still so many loose ends for this being the last book in a series, and just so many things that I felt like fell flat. I felt like we had better theories or suggestions for how things should have played out than they actually did. So that was the only thing. I liked the ending for what it was, but I also feel like it was missing something. It could have been improved. Like, I'm fine with it, but I think it could be better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did a 4, but to your point, probably between the even 3.5 to 4. And again, I'll just retweet everything you said because it really was wonderfully paced. I was flying through it. You know, I took pauses at really good moments and all of that. But yeah, it definitely just the ending. I was more annoyed with even the epilogue. I didn't feel like it was worth it to me. It just felt kind of thrown together. And I say this with all kindness to the author. Again, we've said this 5 billion times on this podcast, but I will never write a book. So I can sit here and say something, but they are amazing for writing this book. It's just there's certain things I think could have been done differently to make it really good. So I'll probably touch on some as we get into some of the questions, but some of it was just I don't know why it was chosen, why we went this direction, but it wasn't my preferred.
What did you think about the last chapter of the book being essentially a spice scene?
I thought it was a waste.
Weird, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
We jumped 2 months later. I was like, oh, great. We're going to get some wrap up of maybe they found their way back to because let's not forget, Aurea, we have no clue what's happening over there because they're all trapped here.
None.
They found no way back. So who knows what dumpster fire is happening over there. I thought 2 months later it was going to be them like crossing the bridge or something. And then it's just them fucking at the lake, the creek, whatever the hell that was.
I just...
And he's like, check out my vapor dragon. Like, cool story, bro. What the fuck are you doing? Are you guys going to get back to those people?
Yeah, and I mean, it's sweet that, you know, his dragon came back because it was a huge destruction that happened to his solid one. But, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a waste. I would have rather actually just ended it with they won and leave me at that. Do you know what I mean? If you're not going to give me conclusion on everything, don't even give me a little snippet that made no sense.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I did not care about his dragon that I just found out about in this book. was a
No.
huge part of his
Also,
backstory, was the fact that his whole family is Lord of the Skies or whatever, can command all these dragons, and he was being forced to try and muster up one his whole childhood. Why are we finding that out in book 6? And then you want to
I
tell me in the epilogue he got his vapor dragon back. I don't give a shit. I didn't know he could have a dragon on 300 pages ago. I don't care. I'm not
do
connected to
I
the
like
dragon. I'm connected to the
right, do
world I
I
was
like
living
that
in.
idea? Yeah, I love the idea of him being able to do that because of his bond with all of the birds and shit like that, but it just felt as if it was just a late ad to give something else to the story because that whole battle with his father was about the dragon. It wasn't anything else. It was just the fact that he couldn't do have a dragon. So when his son could, he was, "Oh, perfect, I'll kill you both so that I can take over or possess this dragon to become
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was just
The dragon was
bizarre.
causing so many problems. We did not know it
Yeah.
existed until 20% into this book or whatever it was. In a 6 book
Yeah.
series. I didn't even know the dragon was the biggest thing. It was weird to me.
Yeah.
Oh, and then let's just end it with we're gonna fuck at the creek. I'm gonna show you my vapor dragon. We're gonna walk back to town like nothing happened. Oh, and by the way, my brother's miserable. Hates his fucking life. The end. What?
The end.
What?
Yeah. It-
We'll get into the side characters in a later
we'll
question,
get
but
into that. Yeah. Yeah.
the ending was so weird. What was the point of that epilogue? I can't. Oh, and then another poem that made no sense.
Yep. Just gonna state, and I don't even have to wait. The poems are terrible for me because I kept thinking something was gonna become of them, of being value. I also kept thinking Little Sun was gonna be them having a kid down the line. I thought it was gonna be something entirely different instead of I actually don't even remember what it was about. It just like, did not hit home for me. It just
And the three
I don't know.
queens?
I feel
Who the
bad,
fuck were
but
the three
yeah.
queens? Like, you never clarified that to us. Who they actually were.
No.
Just these
Nope.
random poems. I agree. Waste of my time reading those poems. And that's
And
probably
I
why
think
when you
you
read
would
on the
text me.
Kindle, but
Yeah.
you turn the page to get to the poem and it pops up like, rate this book because it knows this is useless.
No, you had said you wish that the poems were written from
Oh,
Eleanor. Is that
yes.
how you
That would
say
have
her
been
name?
amazing.
I, th- yeah, that it was from her perspective, from her visions, from the goddesses. That would have been such a cool tie-in if it was I was the one who saw all this happening. I could kind of see the future in a way, and then that's how it was done. And then no,
No,
nothing. Missed
we just
opportunity.
know her only
Would
word
have
was
loved it.
Goldfinch.
Goldfinch.
And she still doesn't talk.
And no.
She's still not
I thought it was
talking.
going to come back. I thought it was going to come back after, everything, but
Same.
nope.
I don't know.
It's not.
So this is why I can't rate it above a 4 because I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yep.
what was all of that? We were good until that epilogue. I think really is what pissed me off. Just did
Yeah.
nothing. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you too. The ending just really didn't complete the series for me.
No. Okay.
No.
Now that we have read the entire series, so a character we have
Yeah.
not talked about yet is Melina. What were your thoughts on her arc and the role she played more towards the end of this book?
Yeah, I think she had the best in the series. Really enjoyed getting to see her start as the true cold queen and then realize everything that, it went through the fact that a lot of it was her fault. She needed to stop pretending as if her people should just love her because she's queen, all of this stuff, even down to the fact that Dominic doesn't kill her when he was going to assassinate her and then kind of makes her live with those reasonings of you are the reason why this all happened and then realizing at the end through the twins mocking that the bridge it was a sacrifice and it was willingness and that she said the only way to get rid of this and help save our world is literally for me to give my life, which is wild. I didn't think it was going to go that far, And you can tell me if you disagree with that, or maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But I thought it was just going to be her blood, and that was it. I didn't think she was going to have to die for it. But maybe I'm naive on that.
I guess, yeah, I thought she would go through with the act of killing herself, sacrificing herself, I should say. But I didn't think it was going to be permanent. I thought it was the act of doing that and showing the willingness, and then the bridge would break and she would get to come back. So I was a little shocked when they never showed back up.
Okay, that's a better description. I like that way more because, yeah, I thought it was going to be more of that. I have to do something to save everyone, but then I would end up being, I guess, saved in a way for
Yeah,
doing this,
that's what
you
I
know?
thought. I thought maybe it was something where if she went in with pure intentions of understanding she was going to die and giving herself, then it would be like you're rewarded. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the end of Harry Potter.
Yeah. And I didn't think she had to like legit be on the bridge for it to break either. You know what I mean? She kind of
Mm,
got on the bridge, and I think her blood hitting the bridge, I thought it was just going to be,
yeah, and then it
I can just kill
crumbled.
myself kind of near it
I did think it was a
instead of on
little
it. I don't know.
wild that he went with her because, yeah, you clearly they had a relationship, but I didn't know it was that deep. They've only been really with each other for maybe a month.
Yeah, I guess,
But I
I
guess
don't know.
also,
Maybe
like, the
just,
world is crumbling, so
yeah, probably thought of, well, this is pretty much it. I'm not going to even try to exist outside of this. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
But
I just,
what were your thoughts on her?
I agree with everything that you said. I thought she personally had the best arc of all the characters because she, I think, showed the most. Orin did too, but I think even more so than Orin, she showed the most growth and progression from where we started. And it wasn't just like, oh yeah, I understand that I was bad. Like I felt like really reflected on all the things that she did wrong, where the original thought patterns came from, like going back to her parents. I felt like she was really deep diving of like, here's all the ways I guess was corrupted by power, and here's how I'm
Yeah.
going to fix it. And I felt like it was coming from a genuine place. So I really liked her whole progression. And the ending made sense for her character. Like I said, I probably would have liked if she came back because I feel like she could have been a really good symbol of hope in the future for the people of Aurea. They're kind of left with shitty ass people. But I liked her arc. And I liked her as a character. There were points in the book or in the overall series where she really pissed me off. But by the end, I liked her and I liked her POV chapters.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her at all, but I will say towards the end, I really started liking her as a character and could appreciate where she came from and who she is today. It's totally that. Well, I mean, I know we said it's a redemption arc, but truly it is. It's
Hmm.
one of those that she was a completely different person at the beginning.
Yeah.
And just this drastic change showed that you can change and it's
Hmm.
okay. You know what I mean? And it's fine. You can understand and agree that you screwed up in the past and make a difference. So I loved it. I also, to your point about her kind of being still alive or what we had hoped, it would have been really nice if even if everyone else couldn't get to Aurea, we got an epilogue from her perspective from Aurea because we don't have anything on that side. And it's just so left unwritten
Yeah.
but it was such a big point of the entire
Hmm.
series that it just felt of a, well, we're really trying to get back to Anwin and that's all we cared about. So we're just going to end it there. And I
Yeah.
just didn't love that at all.
And none of the characters really feel, even though some of them came from Anwin, I don't think they truly feel like that is their home at this point because they've all lived in
Yeah.
Aurea for so long. So then it felt weird to leave them in a place that they don't even really feel like is their home and they're just kind of having to learn to live with that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt really, I don't know, unsettling. I would have liked, that's a good call, if the epilogue was from the POV of someone in Aurea. Just because
Yeah. Because
is
I
it
mean,
all
at the end of
rotted?
it,
What land is still safe?
right.
Is Kyla and whatever the other guy's name, are they just
Oh, King Thold?
like are they
Told?
just letting everything
However
go
you
to
say his name
shit?
is.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. So many unanswered questions on that side, and I would have loved more,
Yeah,
but
completely
we didn't get
agree.
it.
Okay. So now, I know we talked a little bit about them, but I'm going to circle
Yeah.
back to some of the side characters that were more prominent in this book. And we'll go through like each of them and what we thought and of their storyline and where they ended up. So we're going to start with Judd, Lou, and Digby. Thoughts?
All right. Judd's death felt forced. I don't know if the author just wanted one of the Wrath to die to make an impact on the fact that it's war, there are sacrifices. I don't know how many times in this book they mention there are sacrifices, this is part of war, as if they were prepping us for one of the core people are dying, but we just didn't have enough info for it to be impactful.
Yep, completely agree. And we kept
Okay, I
calling,
felt harsh saying that.
no, we kept calling someone's going to die. They have to, they're not all going to come
Yeah.
out of this alive. At the point in the story where that death happened, he felt like the least significant person in that group. He had had the least amount of on-page time. We really weren't keeping up with him because he was off doing all those other missions. So at that point, I had kind of forgotten about him. I wasn't as connected to him, so him dying, I did not care. If it had happened earlier in the series, probably would have felt it more. But at this place, I was like, you barely have had him on the page. I would not have cared. This is where it would have made more sense for an Osric or Rissa to have something happen to them because we had to spend so much time in their POVs.
Yeah, and they were just, I'll get to them in a minute, but yeah, it just would have made more sense for someone else who we spent more time with to die. And I guess with Melina, maybe that's why she did, because we had so much time in her POV.
Yeah.
So, tying that back, maybe that's why, you had to get rid of someone that was in the main focus of what
Yeah.
33% of the fifth book was her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Judd, it
Same
just,
even for this one.
yeah. And Judd just happened, and then they had to keep moving. We didn't even really reflect on
Yeah,
it that much. And Slade's just like, where's Judd? And they just give it a look, and he's like,
yeah.
oh. That's it.
Yeah, it wasn't. And even Riot, the fact that Judd literally saved him from dying, and then he ends up dying, I would have thought Riot was going to be more distraught. And I think he was. I don't want to discredit how he was feeling, because they definitely, from his POV, it did seem that way. But it didn't reflect that when we got to Anwin.
Yep, completely
with
agree.
everyone. So I don't know, but yeah. What were your thoughts on Lou?
Disappointed with her storyline in the first, 3 books, or maybe books 2 and 3 more so. She was such a mysterious character, and we kept having questions. What's her backstory? She's like so odd. If you like bring up anything about her past, we don't know where she came from. Her real name, she was weird about. What's going on with Lou? We were so intrigued. Oh, maybe in the next book we're gonna find out. I couldn't even find Lou in this book. Barely in the book. She was barely in book 5. I feel like let's talk about the erasure of Lou from the storyline, and then we get nothing. We did not learn one thing. We still don't know where she came from. We still don't know why she's weird about her name. We don't know how she really got brought into the fold. So she's a huge loose end to me.
Such a loose end. Yeah. Even when, was it book 4, when they're, Lauren's up finally from her recovery, and her and Lou are talking, and it kind of, Lou just shrugs her off of, that's a story for a different day.
Yeah, never got it.
Well, we're never getting it.
What day? Because the day's over.
When?
Yeah. I did not like that. Cause
Yeah.
I felt like
Nope.
she was a really important character in the beginning of the story, of the series, and then completely ran out.
Also, I expected her to die. I thought her and Judd were going to die together they could, because we thought they were going to be a love interest at that point.
Yep.
But again, even her death, it would have hurt, I think, more than Judd, because we did like her and we got more of her. But again, like you said, book 5 and 6, she really wasn't there.
Yeah.
She was just kind of popping up here and there.
And then Digby. I literally wrote in my notes,
I got nothing.
useless.
I literally just like how he's dating Slade's mother. I mean, that's a weird
I mean,
Did not have it on my bingo card twist.
he was really important in book one. She
Hmm.
was really focused on finding him in book two. And then honestly, ever since book two, I feel like he's just kind of like that old grandpa in the back that they're just having to bring along because she just feels this like trauma bond with him. I don't know, but he's not actually doing anything because for the whole series he's been hurt. He hasn't been able to do anything, and he's just walking around like,
Yeah.
"Where's Orin? I must be with her. I must protect her." He can barely walk. He's like half hanging on.
Yeah.
I Where was he during all of this? And then now all of a sudden he's gonna date Slade's mom who doesn't speak.
Like another character that just had such a weird progression and then stopped. And I think that's what frustrated me more and probably why this book, like you said, the ending bothered you the most is it just felt as if we were really getting somewhere with a bunch of people. And then it was, well, we got to tie this all up, but I don't have enough space for all these people. But
Yeah,
he was one of them that I liked him at the beginning,
yeah, I have
but
nothing wrong with him, but
again,
it's
we didn't hear from him.
but he's just like awkwardly written into scenes, and then he's like with them till the end, enough that we have to include him
Yeah.
in an epilogue. Like, what did he contribute to the story? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I
She
think
should
he was
have.
just there in the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, I think she started writing characters, and then as we moved, she was like, "Oh, I need to add in new characters," and she didn't know how to wrap up other people's or
Yeah.
like nicely transition them out of the story. So it left you constantly thinking about everyone because you're like, "Well, I have questions. You didn't never answer these questions about these people." If she had answered Lou's backstory, it would have been fine with how Lou ended. But because I was like, "Why is
Exactly.
there so much mystery on this character? There must be something coming," and then you never got it. Digby, honestly, they should have killed him early in the series. He
I
should
feel
have just
so,
died from the injuries
yeah.
and kept it moving because he did not contribute anything towards the end. But he just had to be
It would
there.
have been better. Yeah, it would have been better if in book three they get him out of the prison or whatever and he helps Orin kill Midas or help her in some sort of way and him being a pivotal moment in that time and he dies in the
Yeah.
process and then she has to deal with that grief but also wanting to fight and
Yeah.
basically avenge his death in a weird way. It just would I think it would have been
Yeah.
more
I
impactful.
completely agree. Instead, though, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, we're going to have him, everything work out for him. But now you have to write him into scenes because you know he's with the group. But
Yeah.
so he's just in the background of things, not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are
Yep.
you here?
I'm with
You're
you.
dead weight.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah, I just didn't like that. Now,
Yeah.
what did you think about Riot?
I love him as a
Mm-hmm.
character, and I was so happy to get so much more from his POV. But what the hell with the ending? You mentioned it that he's just miserable in Anwin. Of course he is. Oria was his place. He found his spot as the commander.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do so much for his people. He literally fought to the end. And then he's just stuck here. Of course the guy's going to be miserable. He doesn't want to be here. He wants to be doing his thing
Mm-hmm.
as a commander for Fourth Kingdom. And I think he could have been way more, personally. I think he could have been doing a lot more. I just felt like it wasn't justice for him at all. It was just kind of a waste of it. And another thing just left open for us.
It was so frustrating. I also thought he was going to end up with Emily, how do you say her name?
Yeah.
And she's just stuck in the other world, so that's never happening. I just, yeah. Literally, I was fine until the epilogue with him, where then they're like, he's having a hard time adjusting. That's how we're ending the book. So he's just miserable. I think maybe even in the epilogue, they said, he's struggling because, he's missing Aurea, but he's finding a new path and he's joined Wick's army, something to give him purpose. It just sounds like he's sitting in that house being miserable all day, which, like, I don't want because I loved him in the last book. I thought he was fantastic and he played a huge role. Well, of course, after we finished, I had to make a TikTok because I was like, I need to know if other people feel the same exact way about this ending, especially when it had to do with him. He was the one that was the catalyst for me being like, this feels
Yeah.
not finished. And people commented, which was very nice, saying that the author, I guess, has come out and either in an interview or however, and said that she purposely left the ending open specifically with his character in case she ever wanted to do some type of spin-off series for him. Yeah, that's
Okay.
great, but are you gonna do it? Because if you choose not to
Yeah.
do it, we're all now just sitting here being like, so he's just miserable? He's hating his life?
Hmm.
So I don't like that. I think you could have wrapped him up with also leaving a little bit of an opening to do whatever you wanted to do with him if you were unsure.
You know, to that point, we could, like you said, he could have been joining Wick's army. He's a commander for that army. He's found his space. He's really trying to make it here because all of the people that were in Deadwell with him are technically back. So his group that he was trying to fight for and everything is still there. And maybe he found amends there. And, like we said, he doesn't have to be with Emily, but she's still there. So it could have been nice to get some interest of like, oh, maybe there's something going on with these two. And at least give us a hope of maybe there'll be another story, not a he hates it, done, if I feel like writing it and if I, can get into that headspace. Because I also assume that writing this type of book, you have to get into a different headspace than what you might be if you write a different type, style, genre, or whatever, or just in general, having to get back into that world and find all the pieces that you had before and then tie it together. I can't even imagine what the mapping would be for that, but I just really wish that there was way more for him and just left it, for an excitement of a novella, but not I need this to finish his story.
Yeah, and for people who finish the book and they're not going on the internet to like look up theories or see what other people thought, they probably would miss that key piece of information of like, oh, this was a purposeful choice in case there's going to be another series. Because I had no clue until other people told me. And I was just sitting here for
Yeah.
a day before I made that video being like, am I
I
missing
found out from
something?
you. Yeah. I had no idea. It's not something that was if I ever want to write this again,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah.
I just feel like you could have wrapped him up a little nicer
Hmm.
with still leaving a opportunity for him to have something because I just that ending really
100%.
really upset me because I liked him so much and it seems like everyone else had adapted except for him. So it's like we're just ending it with like, yeah, it was like one line. He's miserable. Basically, he's miserable. Move on.
Oh, yeah. And then they're just like, cool, now we're going to go fuck in the woods.
Yep. Down by the
Literally, that's how
creek.
it was.
Come see my
Yeah.
vapor dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, that epilogue, I hated it. Okay,
Yep.
we mentioned Emily, so we can talk about her too, and also
Yeah.
Wick. What'd you think?
So, Emily, I felt bad. We had said she was suspicious. We were questioning, what was going to happen with her. Well, nothing really happened with her in this book. I felt bad. She was really useless. The only thing she did was help Melina escape to basically go break the bridge. I loved the sass she was giving Riot when they did find her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I kind of said, oh, there might be something of maybe that's where the epilogue goes. I think she had so much
Mm-hmm.
potential, but they didn't allow her to do it. I would have loved if somehow she ended up back in Anwin instead of fighting, just marching along. Like there were many times where she fell on the bridge, and why couldn't she just scoot to the side and just run, you know what I mean? Wait for people to go by. I don't know. So much from her, but again, because she was so last minute add, I just don't think they should have had really anything from her POV. I didn't find any value from hers.
No, she was a snooze fest. I'm sorry. If go
Yeah.
back and listen to our last episode when we did book 5, I feel like we had amazing ideas of what she could do, where she could go, and I wish they were taken. I know the book was written years ago, but I'm sorry. Put me in a focus group, put you in a focus group. We could have really shook things up with this book. Snooze fest.
Yeah.
So you just go along with being a stone soldier, whatever the hell they were called,
Hmm.
and you're gonna come across. Then she's so fucking dumb. She imitates Glamours as the twin. You could have picked anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Hmm.
You pick him. Then, yeah, I like the part where she was helping Melina, but I'm like, what are you gonna do? Now she's just stuck there. What the hell is she gonna do there?
And then the best is when Riot in group finds her. She's not even telling them everything. She's
Nope.
kind of hiding stuff. Why don't you just, I mean, I'm going to sound bad, and maybe I wouldn't either if I was in that situation, but why aren't you saying something of, oh, he's doing a fairy ring right there. We need him alive because that's the only way we can get back and forth. You idiot.
And she knew, or I guess she
Oh,
didn't know that the other guy was dead. But I'm sorry, you were banking
yeah.
all that on one person and hoping he was alive? I would be like,
Just one.
there's someone else, but like, who knows? He might be dead. So why don't we keep this one alive just as a backup plan? Pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she seemed to turn
Yeah.
real stupid in this book. I hate that, when they're made
Yeah.
to be intelligent and they're dumb in the next one.
Mm-hmm. And I think that might actually be why I was frustrated with her character. It was one of those I expected her to be strong with how much she's been in this since birth. Pretty much, she's been with the Volman, however you say their group name, and then she just turns into you know mush at the end of just I don't know what to do. You've been in this your whole life. What are you doing? You like she talks about all of these awesome things that she's done in the past to sneak by people and everything. And then we get, I'm just going to follow people. Like, don't turn into someone else and just run away and say, I need to go back or something. I don't know.
She had so many opportunities to escape. I can't.
That's
What
fine.
did you think about Wick?
I like him, but I think, again, because of he was kind of just there as an extra person, I will say, skip him probably being really non-existent in most of the book. What I did like is at the end him saying no, as much as Oren said I should be the leader of this area, I actually think a committee of sorts would make more sense because we saw one person have too much power and then no one could do anything about it. We need it to be more of the areas come together and stuff like that. Loved it. Thought it was great. Would have thought that was happening in Oria as well is another complete thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a combined thing. But whatever. I'm gonna stop being off that, and stop beating a dead horse. But I don't know, I liked it, but he was just kind of I think he served a purpose. And it was fine because we didn't need to go too deep on his story. And I thought that was fine.
I liked him. I liked that Oren at the end was like, I don't need to be a leader. Girl, we all know you did not need to be a leader. Her spiel was nice too. Like, I haven't even been able to live my own life. I got that, but like also, girl, you cannot be running a place.
No.
You didn't give a shit about these people. You were so concerned about a hole in the sky. You cannot be in charge of these people. I like that he gave the committee idea. I do think he will be the leader of the committee, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I like it. It keeps the family line intact. It goes because that was also cool when she got to drop that big bombshell for him. And I like it. He's meant for this. I think this is great for him. He's probably the
Yeah.
only one I'm like 110% content with their ending.
I'm with you. And I also think it's a perfect example of someone who was introduced later in the game,
Hmm.
but their story didn't need to be far. It didn't need to be extra. We didn't need any POVs from him. Perfect. I loved it. He
No
was a side
notes.
character. No
He
notes.
stayed in his
Probably
lane.
yeah, like you said, the best one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stayed in his lane. People who did not stay in
Yeah.
their lane, Osric and Ressa. Why? I'm
So,
sorry, why did we have so many POVs from them? Waste of my fucking time. I like them as characters, don't get me wrong.
mhm,
I'm fine where they ended up. They're in love, they're gonna get married. Why he was bringing her to
kind
a
of.
battle and she was like forcing him to take her to the battle. Why? I don't understand that whole logic. But I'm sorry. So many minutes and chapters wasted on him sitting by her bedside while she's trying to heal. For that? That was it? Awesome.
Mhm.
You could have given us a check in through someone else's POV.
I really don't think we needed either of their POVs. I wanted so much more from Osric because from the beginning, when he's, the right hand man for Slade, when they get the girls from the Red Raids and all of that, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. He's going to be another one. I hate comparing, but similar to Akatar, where it's just going to be that core group and it's going to be great. As the series went on, I couldn't stand them. I'm happy for them that they're together, but I would have rather if we removed every single ounce of their story from it and it was just told on the side. And we just got the fact that they're there. Like, Judd's amount of information in his life is what we probably should have got from Osric and Rissa. Now, I say that with the note of Rissa probably could get a little bit more because of the fact that her and Oren had so much history.
Yeah.
That's the only extent I'll give her. Besides that, I didn't need all of that. I didn't need all of the scenes between them, like even the sex scenes, you know, when she's healed. I didn't need any of that. I don't care.
Yeah, that I loved at the end when her and Oren were like, I guess we're friends now. Like, yeah, we all knew you're
Yeah.
friends. I liked that. That was cute.
Mm-hmm.
The sex scene at the beginning of the book was like 8% in. It was like right off the bat. Why? Especially because they did nothing. They were such a nothing burger. Great. They got married. They went to a battle. Nothing happened. Neither of them got hurt. She thought for 5 seconds he could have been dead. That was it. Oh, and she made up with Manu. Who cares?
Yeah.
And now they're like off living their life in the new land. Great.
Yeah.
Why did we need to watch him be like, you're not a saddle anymore, you can do this? Again, things we could have, glad it happened, but things we could have learned in a paragraph in someone else's view.
Yeah. It could have been conversations they had with Riot. It could have been conversations they had with Slade when they were in the same vicinity. There was just so much time wasted in book 5 on her with her being on her deathbed. And then book 6, the battles. I didn't mind the battle scenes in terms of getting those POVs, but I thought it was absolutely useless to get anything extra.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Her bitching about like, well, he had a view and I didn't. I'm like, that's all we heard about. I couldn't. How about also in book 5? The girls that showed up to heal her at the end? Where the hell did they go? Disappeared.
Yeah, I feel like they're just chilling in Fourth Kingdom and
They
that's it.
healed Argo.
Yeah.
That was it. We thought that we had such great plans for those girls. Nothing. You didn't even bring them to the battle
Nothing.
to heal people?
Oh. Yeah,
Could they have healed Judd?
exactly.
I'm so confused.
Right? Like, just fly them in, quickly heal,
Like,
fly back
that's
out type
a
thing.
really random plot. Like, oh, we'll just bring these two
Yeah.
random girls are going to show up just in time to save Rissa. Like, just as we're about to administer her final dose so she can die. These girls are swooping in.
Yeah.
They're going to save her. Oh, and then we're going to never talk about them again. What?
Yeah. Yeah, there was just, again, so many things that I feel like the author was trying to give us stories. And again, I don't know if the author agreed to a contract of 6 books and had to get to 6 books. But all of these side characters that we've talked about, and we've spent a lot of time on them, but they weren't needed in the story. We didn't need as much. They're side characters for a reason. Riot was the best side character to have POVs for. After that, it was wasted.
Yes.
Melina, actually, I'm sorry. Melina would be the other one that I would give her credit for because of how powerful she was to the story. But that's how it should be. It should be someone who is part of the whole story, not truly just a side character.
Yep.
Because they don't need anything.
Yes.
So
completely agree. Also, if when I finished this book, if you said to me, "Oh, she's writing a novella after this. Who do you think it's about?" I would have said Osric and Rissa because she spent so much fucking time on them.
agreed. Yep. Because if it's anyone else, I would have said, okay, that's a little bit random.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, why did we spend so much time with them? I do not understand. Now,
Yeah, I know.
outside the side characters, there were wars going on in the book. So we actually had 2 wars
Yeah.
that were going on at the same time. So the first one
Yeah.
was King Karek and the Oriens. What do you think about it?
I didn't expect it to be 2 going on at the same time. Just have to state that out because we had theories that it was going to be a
One
one
then
after
the
the
other.
other type
Yeah.
thing. But I will say, loved that Riot was the one, or the group Orions were fighting him. I really liked how it was separated in that way. So that was well done. I didn't expect, obviously, the bridge to collapse and not be able to go over and continue with that fight, yada, yada, yada. But I did like it. I really think Riot killing him was a top moment of the book for me.
Yeah.
Still so good.
I kind of like how easily he killed him too. He's this
Yeah,
super
true.
powerful guy, turns things to stone, was like bringing people back from the dead to be stone soldiers. Crazy. And then Riot's like, oh, but he never actually has been in battle, so he's not coordinated enough. I'll just have to hit him at the right spots. Like, I think he literally punched him. That's how he killed him.
It's like he jumped from
Like,
the timberwing and just
it was
woo.
it was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. This king, he wouldn't be a little bit battle trained, wild, or have
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
protecting him. That was crazy, but I was
Mm-hmm.
glad that he was the one that
Mm-hmm.
killed him. I think that gave him good confidence too, because he was
I think
always
so.
living in his brother's shadow. I liked during the battle that everyone kind of came to help out, and when Kyla was doing her voice thing, I was like, oh, this is great. Look at it. I really thought we're getting a change from her. And then right when it's over, she's like, great, so we'll reconvene. We'll talk about who's going to be owning which lands. I'm like, back to her same shit.
Yep. And again, I think why I'm so mad that we don't have anything because of her and everything that's going on over there. So it just would have been so nice or if someone just took her out in that moment and said, all right,
Yeah,
sorry, collateral damage.
yeah. And I'm so curious how many people are left over there. And also
Yeah.
what the second wave of monsters, I forgot what they were called.
Oh, the creepy
What the
ones that
hell they
actually
were,
feast on each
yeah,
other.
what the hell they were going to do. Thankfully, they didn't make it over because the bridge had collapsed. But no, and with you, I also thought it was going to be one war, then the other. Did not think they were going to be separate.
Agreed. Yeah.
Now, at the same time in Anwin, we have another war going fight. I wouldn't say war, a fight
Yeah.
going on between Orin, Slade, and Lord Kull. What were your thoughts on this? This is where the dragon really came into play.
Yeah. So, they're just on a joyride on this dragon. And then I think they start heading back and they hear commotion or whatever. And they see Cull attacking. This is where I get a little bit annoyed. I thought that him and his father were pretty much on like same level of could battle each other because that's kind of, I don't want to say what we got when he was 15, but pretty much what we got when he was 15, right?
I thought the same thing.
Where,
Also, his father was pretty high up in the army or whatever, and people
yeah.
feared him. So I also thought his power was on the same level.
Okay. Thank you. So I thought they were going to be the same level. And then all of a sudden, we just get a net thrown over, this magical net that prevents you from using your powers. All of a sudden, a brand new thing. Not like this has been something that the stone swords have been using to defeat the Volman this entire time. Nothing. It's literally just another brand new thing that came out. And that's the only way that he's able to potentially defeat his son is by this magical net that stops his kid from having rot powers. Because what? You knew that your kid's going to come back more powerful and he could rot you before you could break him? I don't understand. I don't know. I was actually more frustrated with this entire freaking fight.
Also,
Fight.
his kid that he
Air
hasn't seen
quotes.
in however many years, so he has no clue where his powers even at. Because it seems like the last time they saw each other, I mean, granted, they were fighting each other and they ripped, but it seemed like their powers were on equal footing, if not his
Yeah.
slates were a little less. So he just assumed he was an underdog going to this fight with, and he needed this net. I don't know. It was crazy though how literally just being able to put one finger out, he was able to take the whole thing down.
Right. And then, and Orin wasn't in the net, but he was still breaking her pretty much as she was going. Okay, I get that. Now Slade's having to see basically his woman get destroyed, his mother stabbed, all of that stuff. I can understand that part, but it was
His
just so
dragons being stabbed and held down.
ripped apart so that his father can then create a bond with the dragon so he can become the most powerful. Again, a part that with the dragon and their family history that just did not, it was not spelled out enough for me in the beginning stuff for it to make sense at that point. I thought it was just added in there as we have no way to have Slade fight his father without him literally rotting him in 2 seconds. Is
Yeah, which is exactly what happened. The second he got the thing out, the dad was done
right.
pretty instantly.
Right.
So, like, we all saw that coming. I wish, going back to the dragon, when he was telling her about his childhood, and then we were getting, I think, even like flashbacks of kind of like what the training with his dad looked like. I wish
Yeah.
they would have mentioned he was trying to get me to conjure a dragon because we're like lord of the birds or whatever. Because
Yeah.
then this would have made more sense of why his big master plan was to get this dragon and then basically be able to kill his son. All the dots would have made more sense. But having all that dumped in the last book, it was like, I'm still processing that he has a dragon. They're riding a dragon, and now the dragon is the reason that the whole time the dad has hated him. Made no sense. You had a good point, too, of in one of the flashbacks, he had him rot birds. And you were like, is this like a foreshadowing of the dragon thing? Which I could totally see that now. Like, was that the author trying to slip something in? To me, I was like, oh, I think he was just trying to show him, like, you can't have, like, humanity for anyone.
Yeah. I thought it was more of you can't like anything because anything you like, we need to basically destroy. We have to be strong, and it kind of sounded along the lines of I only am with your mother because I needed my bloodline to continue
Yeah.
type thing. That was it. So I figured it was something along those lines, which they actually do pretty much mention that he wanted a powerful person with some certain magic to basically to keep the bloodline going. It's
Yeah.
pretty much what his father had admitted with their marriage. But yeah, I don't know that whole thing again why I thought it was going to be them first and then Carrick last was it would have been nice if we had this fight and then they made it back to Aurea to help out with everything else.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know if I'm gonna go absolutely crazy on the theory too and just ride this psycho train. If the bridge never got destroyed, but they made it back before those psycho fae came over, and they were able to help fight that and destroy them, and
Yeah.
that's where Judd could have died, where it was more of a
Yeah.
bigger thing. Like, oh my
I like
god,
that
there could
better.
have been so many different ways to write it that I don't know.
And I really thought the story was going to end with the worlds being connected, going back to how it was. I thought that was like the whole theme of the book was to like create peace amongst all the people. And then it's just
Yeah.
like, no, we open the bridge to then shut the bridge and now you're separated and stuck. It just made no sense to me. Also, in this fight scene, we have to talk about this. So Oren basically gets killed. And Slade's carrying her for days, dead, and there's like a whole parade behind them. Okay, that I was fine with. And honestly, I really was not that upset if her character had died then because I'm like, I feel like that was a good arc for her. That's great. And now she's this symbol for them. I kind of was okay with it. The way she came back to life, though, was crazy. Now all of a sudden she's flying and talking to stars. What?
Okay, gonna bring it back. Remember book 1 and book 2? We talked about the importance of she mentioned the stars.
I forgot about that.
But why was it left with so much gap before that came back?
I completely forgot
Was
about the
she-
star, and we talk about them so much. And now
Was she supposed to be that star the whole time and that it was
no freaking clue.
a test of her will of no, I don't want to just fall into place with the rest of the stars. I want to fly and be a person. Hold on, I got to go back. Also, the summary at the end, it says, and a goldfinch does not fall, it flies. Is that supposed to just be the ending?
I have no clue. I genuinely have no clue. She flies through the stars, lands back in her body. Why did it take 4 days to end up back in your body? Then, when she comes back alive, Slade is falling through the bridge. And then she's like, oh, I don't want us to fall. We can't die. I'm going to lift us and fly us both out of here. And she grows wings.
Yeah, the ribbons can just turn into wings, but then turn back into ribbons.
These ribbons couldn't even help her get out of a window
Yeah.
2 books ago. And the ribbons just came back, and now all of a sudden she knows how to maneuver them. She has wings, and she knows how to fly.
Yeah. It was just so many little things that just felt weird. Again, I will say the poem of sorts of her being the star and not wanting to fall into place with the other stars, but to keep living whatever. It was so confusing to me. I didn't know if she was gonna live or die or what was going on. I just,
No clue.
again, I felt so stupid reading it, okay? Because I'm sitting to myself saying, should I understand all of this? Or am I meant to be freaking confused?
I was confused with you, so
I was
I
so
guess we can be
mad because
stupid together. I was
I
like, what
guess
the hell is
so.
happening? She's just
I
bouncing through
don't know.
stars? Like, what is this? And also, if
God,
that's like a thing of her family being able to do, why didn't her parents do that and come back to life?
right. Why didn't they just say, I'm not ready to die yet. We're just
So
gonna
can
boop
she never
bop, come
die?
back.
She's just gonna ride in the stars? I'm so confused.
Maybe? I don't know.
You know what I
And
would have
again,
liked?
like even
Sorry to cut you off.
what?
If while she was flying
No,
to
you're
the
good.
stars, she could see Melina and Judd and their
At least
sacrifices.
make it something.
No, it's just like we're bouncing through the
Yeah.
stars. I was like, what is this, Rainbow Road? I could not deal with that. I couldn't. Like when you fall off and the star picks you up, that's what it reminded me
Yeah,
of.
they just go. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. So many choices that I feel bad saying were terrible, but now that we talk about this, I'm like, I don't even think I would rate this book a 4. As we keep going through, I'm just, wow, there were so many things I didn't actually like.
Oh, that's what we're good at, finding the negatives. Okay, so
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
note, the whole series, did you like it? What would
yeah.
you rate the series? What other things do you wish were different? We talked about a lot.
I really like this.
I loved it. I had a great time.
It was amazing. Um, a 3.5 at best. I
Same way.
just, yeah, did I like the fact that Slade and Orin got their ending? They kept saying those one day. I liked how they got that, and I think that was fine. But it did feel like a given at this point because a lot of these books, it's always as if like a fairy tale ending where they're gonna be together. I thought they were might have to sacrifice themselves and then both die. Like that's kind of where I thought it was gonna go towards the end, but then it didn't. Whatever, I'm fine with it. We mentioned it a few times. Wasted space on the fact that Oria did not even get any POV at the end, but we had so many about people who didn't need a POV
Hmm.
or any info on, which was really entertaining. As you said, how Slade's mother literally says Goldfinch. We had talked about, I don't remember what book it was, but we said, I wonder if she saw a vision, had a vision from the goddesses about something that happens. She did, but I thought it was going to be more impactful than just Slade hearing it. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be maybe his father also heard it. You know, we had talked about that during one of the books. But the fact that then that's the only other word she says when Orin dies and then comes back to life, she mentions Goldfinch. And those are the only other words. So is that the only word you're ever going to say is Goldfinch at this point?
Yeah. Put it on her tombstone. Goldfinch.
Yeah, Goldfinch. I don't know. Um,
So many things.
yeah. What did you have?
3.5 as well. A little, probably 0.5 of it is the fact that it's on Kindle Unlimited. You don't have to pay for it. That's so mean, but like, I didn't waste money on it. I think if
Yeah.
you're looking for just like a fun fantasy, it's not that difficult to understand the basics of the world. Great option. If you're looking for a series that has multiple books and they're pretty lengthy, great option. Like, there's nothing bad about it. It's not the worst thing I've ever read, looking at you when the moon hatched. But it's not, a He of the Everflame. It's not a Fourth Wing series. It's just, it's not. The fact, though, this is the thing that really set me off when I finished. When you really zoom out, this whole series is supposed to be a King Midas inspired series. Look where we ended. This book
Yeah.
started out with orgies in a bird cage. Everything was gold, okay? And we landed we're in the Fey world with a vapor dragon rotting stuff. I'm really having a hard time seeing where it's supposed. I feel like it's one of those things where like the series was supposed to be 3 books and then it was doing well and they're like, let's add more, let's add more. But she had already killed off Midas. So it was like, where do we go from here? They feel like two completely separate things because he literally is dead at the end of book 3 and then there's 3 more books after that. And
Yeah,
he's not
it's
really
so
talked
funny.
about.
No, I mean, what briefly mentioned here and there, and that's it.
Yeah. So honestly, that's the part for me where it's like I can't give it a high rating because the initial concept of the series literally stops halfway through and then it feels like a completely different book where now like we have dragons and fairies and what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and we had such high hopes after the third one. We're like, okay, even though Midas is dead, where is this going? Kyla was set up as a wonderful
Oh yeah, she
opportunity to
fell
fight
off.
her. She fell off. Even if we didn't make it back to the Fey world and it was just
Hmm.
kept in Aurea, it would have been interesting. Or it, yes, if we did make it to the Fey world, but again, like you said, there was still that connection between the two, and the bridge was there, and that's how they rebuilt that. The fact that literally Oren's great 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 grandma, whoever it was able to have that passage, and she was the first one that fell from the sky. It would have been so poetic
Yeah.
if it did end that way and they were able to bridge it and there was, you know, friendliness between the two sides and it wasn't this weird thing. I think they even mentioned at one point, was it Dominic who literally said, "Oh, I wonder if our people didn't make it over to the Fey world. What if they made it to a different world and that the bridge was tied somewhere else?"
That'd
I'm
be
like,
cool.
that wasn't even needed as like a side comment, but it would have been cool
Yeah.
if, you know, there was just so much I think with the bridge that they just didn't do. And
Yeah, and I feel like honestly we're at the same place we were at the beginning of
yeah.
the story.
Mhm.
The worlds are separated. I mean, granted, the
Yeah.
Fey world's in a little bit of a better place, but Oria is a shit show
Yeah.
now. So now it's just swapped.
Also, so Oren gets, they're back at the end of, you know, whatever, the bridge. She's alive. She saved her enslaved from falling, blah, blah, blah. She literally puts her magic into the ground
Oh yeah,
and
on
cures the world
why
of
couldn't she grow a bridge?
having what? Thank you. I thought that's where it was going, was maybe she was going to create a bridge and it was going to be more of a natural bridge because that bridge kept feeling as if there were creepy people just chilling in the fog
Oh yeah, that was weird.
and they just were rushing away. I thought it was going to be something more peaceful and
Yeah. Also, how is there no one alive that can do the fairy rings? They
I don't
they
know.
act like this was
There has to be
hundreds of years
someone.
ago. Clearly, at the time, I kept trying to think it was more than it was. Clearly, she's only been gone for 20 years. You're telling me in 20 years they've
Yeah.
all died, and that was their main form
Yeah.
of transportation? I'm
Mhm.
very confused. I just felt like there
And
was
also
a
the
lot of
fact,
half-baked ideas and nothing. Again, I think it was supposed to be a
yes.
3 book series focused on Midas and he was the main villain and that was the whole thing. And then
Mhm.
it got extended. And then she's like, oh shit, I gotta build a whole new world and add all this other layers to it. But didn't give herself enough time to fully bake them out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think because of how it went, it could have been written so different those last three, and it actually probably should have just been one or two more. I think it would have made more sense if it was a 5 book series at that point and just merged those last three together and gave us more conclusion to kind of bring the two worlds together, all of that stuff, like we said. And I think it would have reduced how many side characters we got that just felt extra. It would have been fine them just being side characters and that's it. So I don't know. It, like I said, probably a contract or something.
We're always going back to these contracts. Like, what did you guys sign? What are
I
these
know.
publishing deals you
Yeah, I
signed?
know.
And you're stretching these books. Yeah, 5 books. Even if she
Yeah.
really wanted to have a six, make the sixth one a novella, I don't think they needed to be these super
Hmm.
lengthy things. Especially, there was so much filler content when you look at it. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
3.5 for me. It was fun. I would probably
Yep.
tell people if you're interested, read it. But it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I like being surprised in a series, but I also like when I get to the end and I'm like, oh, I could have I can see how in book one, some of this I could have figured out. This, there's no
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Because book one is so far away from where we landed. And here, like, the concept is so different, which I don't
Yeah.
love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. And I think too, for me, I think you had mentioned it, that some of the books are very long. When you get into a series that's like that, towards the end, I just kind of was ready to just finish the series. I just needed to know how it
Yeah.
ended. And it just left me not fully satisfied with how everyone's story was. That I think that's what bothers me more. And if you're looking for something that's world building but not too crazy world building and very easily, to understand everything, this is totally the series. But my sister-in-law had literally told me, 'cause she read a couple of them and said, I think she might have ended on book 3 and said it ended perfectly fine. I didn't have to continue the series. And honestly, after seeing it, I understand that.
Yeah.
It would have been fine,
Yeah. It's
had
crazy
a
too
novella
because,
after book 3.
yeah, it's crazy too because the first book had darker themes or like feelings towards it, and all that kind of stripped away. I just felt like book one is so different from all the other books in the series, and the characters have good arcs throughout the series, but I wish she would have stuck to this is a King Midas inspired and kept him as like the main villain. I don't like when there's a bunch of villains coming in and they're coming late, and it's like I just like one thing that we're kind of fighting towards.
Yeah, and then, keep it simple, and that's it.
Yeah,
We just have this grand finale with him or something.
yeah,
It would have been perfect if him and Kyla did marry and they took over more of the kingdoms
yeah.
and others had to fight against that. That would have been really cool and just end it that way.
Yeah, or if he
You
was still in
know,
the picture, or even if he died, but there was, yeah, people he was connected to that she had to take down, or people from her past that they were kind of getting, like, yeah, Slade went into that, but that would have been nice if that was kind of the culmination of, like, she's getting her power back,
hmm
she's going after all these guys and gross people that did it. Instead, it was like, this person she didn't even know existed was who she was fighting.
yeah.
And I feel like we didn't really get good closure to on why they even took her to Oregon. He was just like, oh, well, I just got you for whatever the flesh traders wanted to pay you. Like, oh, that's it? Really? I wish there was more
Yeah,
to that.
we had so many different theories and better ones of, oh, she was sent there for,
Yeah.
safety or whatever. I mean, that's kind of where, what was it, Syra
Mm-hmm.
Turley was the original Turley. That's where she came from, so maybe it was oh, that's where her people
Yeah.
are from. She's probably safe there. Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
many
So many things
things.
that could have been done differently. And just
Yeah,
like that overall feeling of like, I liked the ending, but I don't feel fully satisfied by it.
agreed. Yep,
But we finished it. And now we're on to the
we
next.
did. Now we're on to the next one. I feel like I've beaten a dead horse with how many things I've said.
Beating a dead dragon.
Yeah, yeah. So we're super excited for our next episode. We're going to be covering Brimstone by Callie Hart, which is the second in the Fae and Alchemy series. So the first one was Quicksilver, and if you need a refresher on that, we actually did an episode. It's episode 8, so you can listen to all of that. We went into a bunch of deep dive theories, everything for that book. At least personally for me, I'm so excited to read the second one because the first one was phenomenal. So I really hope it lives up to it. So
Fingers
fingers
crossed.
crossed. Yeah. So stay tuned. I hope other people are going to be reading it because I keep seeing the hype for it everywhere. And follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and our Fable Book Club to read along with us at Booktroverts Pod. And, super excited. I think I'm way too hyped to talk about this one. So I guess see you next time when we chat about it.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.